First, let's go to Fox Business correspondent Max Gordon, who is reporting live from the White House this hour. Hi, Max.
Hey, good afternoon. Well, with yesterday's announcement, it appears that diplomacy is still on the table for the Trump administration. Meanwhile, talks between European leaders and Iran have been ongoing in Geneva. The foreign ministers for France, Germany, and the UK releasing a joint statement just moments ago expressing grave concerns with the escalating situation in the Middle East and expressing willingness to continue the dialogue with Iran. Now, Iranian officials maintaining that their nuclear program is still being used for peaceful purposes, and saying that they'll reject any deal that doesn't allow them to enrich uranium.
We are not seeking negotiations. It is the Americans who want talks. They've sent messages several times, very serious ones, but we made it explicitly clear to them that as long as this aggression and invasion continues, there's absolutely no room for talk or diplomacy. We are engaged in legitimate self-defense, and this defense will not stop under any circumstances. We have nothing to discuss with the United States, which is a partner in these crimes.
This map showing all of Iran's nuclear facilities, with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel now saying that his country can hit all of Iran's nuclear sites. That includes Fordow, Iran's nuclear underground enrichment facility. White House officials say that Iran currently has all the components it needs to build a nuclear bomb. Meanwhile, the air war between Israel and Iran rages on. Overnight, the IDF says they attacked dozens of targets in Iran using 60 fighter jets. This as Iran continues to fire missiles into Israel. While the administration mulls over next steps, a senior law enforcement source confirmed to Fox that the FBI is increasing its surveillance of Iranian-backed operatives inside the United States. Meanwhile, more aircraft and ships are deploying to the Middle East. The U.S. Navy currently has 5 guided missile destroyers in the Eastern Mediterranean. And then tomorrow, a second aircraft carrier will likely enter the region, a show of force from the United States. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much.
As Trump puts off joining the Israel-Iran conflict for 2 weeks, United States President Donald Trump will decide Washington's course of action in relation to the Israel-Iran conflict in 2 weeks' time, the White House said on Thursday. Speculation has been rising this week that the U.S. could decide to assist its long-standing ally, Israel, in strikes against Iran, which it claims are designed to neutralize Iran's nuclear program. In particular, Israel wants the US to provide bunker buster bombs, which may be able to penetrate deep within the mountain in northwest Iran, where the Fordow nuclear facility is located. This comes after a week of Trump shifting his position on the conflict. What has Trump said about potential US action in Iran? On Thursday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt shared what she described as a direct quote from the US president with reporters. Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. How has Trump changed his position on the Iran-Israel conflict? When Israel first attacked Iran late on June 13th, the Trump administration clearly stated that it had not been involved, calling Israel's attack unilateral action. It has become clear since then, however, that the US did have knowledge of the attacks in advance. Trump also said he believed Iran was very close to having a nuclear weapon during the Group of 7 G7 summit in Canada this week, contradicting his own US intelligence reports. This marked a shift from his position in May, when he made public statements that Tehran and Washington were close to a nuclear deal. On Wednesday, Trump refused to say whether the US would join the conflict. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do, he told reporters outside the White House. Finally, on Thursday, Trump appeared to give a 2-week deadline for talks with Iran to succeed before the US would take action. Does this mean Trump has delayed a US attack on Iran for 2 weeks? No. It also does not necessarily mean the US will attack Iran at all. Leavitt remained ambiguous on what could happen after 2 weeks. The press secretary said, "The president is always interested in a diplomatic solution. He's a peacemaker-in-chief. He's the peace through strength president. And so, if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it." But he's not afraid to use strength as well. But Mona Yakubian, senior advisor and director of the Middle East program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, said that while 2 weeks would give time for more negotiations with Iran, it would also provide the US with time to flow in additional forces should it decide to join Israel in the conflict. For now, it is impossible to say which of these two possibilities is more likely, or if the 2 weeks mentioned by Trump is even a deadline at all. I don't even know if President Trump knows what he wants, Iranian-American analyst Nigar Mortazavi told Al Jazeera. He campaigned as the president of peace. He promised he's going to end conflicts. Russia-Ukraine hasn't ended. Gaza has escalated, and he just let the third big Middle East war, which looks like a regime change war, start under his watch. So, he says one thing, he does another. Others believe Trump's 2 weeks comment is a negotiation tactic to apply pressure on Iran during talks. Jamal Abdi, president of the National Iranian-American Council, told Al Jazeera that Trump could be attempting to build leverage with threats to strong-arm Iran into accepting his demands of total surrender. I think he's trying to present himself as this madman who is unpredictable, and in so doing, he can then insist on this very hard line that Iran has refused to accept for decades of full dismantlement of its nuclear enrichment program. Abdi told Al Jazeera, the delay certainly could be part of a broader negotiating strategy which exploits Iran's weakened position as a result of wide-ranging military strikes to extract more substantial concessions from Iran on the nuclear issue and potentially on other points of contention as well. For example, its ballistic missiles program, Yakubian said. It's extremely difficult to predict what will happen next, she added. President Trump's idiosyncratic negotiating strategy alongside his instinctual, from the gut decision-making approach underscores the unpredictability of the coming days, which may well be the point. Has Trump declared deadlines before, and has he stuck to them? In the past, Trump has assigned similar timelines relating to Iran's nuclear program, the Russia-Ukraine war, and global trade tariffs, but he does not always stick to them. Imposing deadlines stands as perhaps the one predictable element of Trump's approach to finding solutions to complex problems, said Yakubian. Setting explicit deadlines has characterized Trump's negotiating style in several realms, from Ukraine to politically sensitive domestic challenges. Iran-Israel conflict. In the lead-up to the current conflict, Trump says he gave Iran a 60-day deadline to negotiate an agreement over its nuclear program, but talks continued beyond its expiry, Yakubian noted. In the end, it was Israel which took action, launching a series of strikes on Iranian military and nuclear sites on June 13th. Source: AI Jazeera. Like and subscribe for more. Thanks.